Jessie Ware, That Feels Good. Album review, let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest album from UK-based singer, songwriter, Miss Jessie Ware. She has been at it for quite some time. Honestly, I do remember very vividly when her debut album, Devotion, came out, and people being up in arms about this thing. And yes, her sultry vocals were immaculate. I thought the production was really nice. But I did worry about some of the songwriting on here. I was not that crazy about it. And her follow-up album, Tough Love, I mean, there's some great tracks on here. But as a whole, I still was not feeling a full album from Jessie Ware as like the complete art form. If anything, it was with 2017's Glass House that did it for me. This album really threw me off. I wasn't even going to review it or listen to it because I really hadn't been into Jessie's stuff that much. But this album, you know, her music in the past had certainly like a throwback flair to it, but this was her most 80s album yet. The synths were better on this album, and not only that, but her vocals had grown tremendously. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and she did not stop there. No, not even close, because with her last album, What's Your Pleasure, Jessie completely threw out her entire last sound, giving up the sultry, jazzy, sophisticated pop that she started with for straight-up disco. And you know what? She did an unbelievable job. It is a tremendous album. It just seems right. It's one of those moments in pop where everything clicks. And clearly, she's not done just yet because these singles that have been leading up to this album are bumping. Let's chat about this thing. This album starts off with the title track, That Feels Good, and it wastes absolutely zero time getting into some seriously funky, silky grooves. Between the funky bass, Jessie's incredible vocal performance, the pristine production, this is a hell of an opening track. It gets you really in the right mindset for enjoying this album. It gets you in the groove. It brings back that disco flair, but once again, it does it in the right way. And the amount of personality and charisma on display from Jessie, like her personality on this track, it is so over the top and in the best way, and I think it's just an awesome intro. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think Free Yourself is the best track here. I thought it was the best single dropped and just an unbelievable tune. Between the memorable piano hook and this larger-than-life chorus, I'm just so beyond happy. Like this hook, how could you hate this hook? It is so infectious. It's also just one of the most instantaneous tracks here. It doesn't waste a single second getting into the groove. It's great. Pearls was another single here, and it's a very glamorous and glitzy one. Shout outs to the production once again. The heavy dose of synth funk that we get on this track is really refreshing, and I swear Jessie's vocals have only gotten better and better all the time. I mean, just listen to this hook. And listen, this is not going to be an album for everybody. I don't know how many people are truly looking for a great disco album in 2023, but listen, give this thing a shot. It is so instantaneous, and every time, each and every hook rolls around, I'm just like fighting to get to the dance floor. Hello Love, on the other hand, is a very starry-eyed, glitzy, steamy ballad. I could see almost fans of like Sade being into this, and I'm just completely shook by just how much love and passion is in her performance here. Add in some soulful saxophones and some groovy percussion. What could go wrong? This track is fantastic. Now, late in the album, we do get a couple of awkward tracks that maybe get a little too cheesy and are maybe a little underwritten. Like Shake the Bottle, for example. I originally enjoyed this track. It's lessened on me quite a bit. I mean, it's certainly a very subdued and sexy performance. Is it hot in here? My goodness. But I don't know, this more subdued performance that we get from Jessie, it's just not where I enjoy hearing her. I feel like this track is just a little bit too meat and potatoes for my liking. And Lightning, I think it's the worst track here. This track is just iffy. I mean, clearly Jessie is very capable of doing a slow jam. Look at Hello Love. But the songwriting here is a major low point. The vocal snippets that we get as samples are just annoying. And Jessie, as far as her confidence goes, this is absolutely the least confident I've heard her. Outside of that, though, Jessie has totally found her niche in modern pop, and she is right at home, and it is really good. Like Begin Again, this track is easily one of the biggest sounding tracks on this entire album. I don't know if it's the spacious atmosphere or the group vocals. This track is a party waiting to happen. And it does happen. And the result is this gigantic, passionate, swirling pop tune that is full of heart. The groovy pianos, the soulful horns, Jessie's passionate vocals. What else do you need? Beautiful People is a little bit different, but in the best way. It's a lot more upbeat. The funk is a lot more in your face. And the sheer confidence of Jessie's performance on this track is wowing, to say the least. While this hook, you may argue, it's one of the more straightforward on this album, I would argue right back that it's one of the most instantaneous. It is so incredibly catchy, and the free spirit of this album, which is one of its best-selling points, is just so on top form here. It's a prime example of that, all the while remaining just as catchy and heartfelt. Freak Me Now, on the other hand, is even more funky. This sounds like it was destined to be on, I don't know, some HD remake of GTA Vice City. And you know what? I'm just going to say the very openly, sex positive feelings behind this album just continue to be very refreshing. Like, if Jessie Ware wasn't already out of her shell with her last album, give a listen to this. The intense groove, Jessie's overwhelming vocals, happy boy over here. And she really turns things up a notch with these lips as a finale. This track is a banger. It is one of the most gaudiest and most extravagant tracks on this entire project, but not really stirring away from what's made this album so enjoyable so far. It's still on display. It's got the funk. It's got the positive sex vibes. It's got a hell of a hook. I could not think of a much better finale for this album. I think this album is pretty exquisite. Yeah, there are some lows, there are some awkward, cheesy moments, and there's some songwriting lows as well. But Jessie Ware continues to have found her home in modern pop by reinventing disco and doing it so wonderful and making it so instantaneous and larger than life and incredibly catchy and personal and heartfelt as well. Happy boy over here. Happy boy. I'm feeling a very decent 8 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.